Well, today I have a timely book, a book of issues, a book about something that's important, a book about something that we don't really think about all that often until we see it really laid out for us, like this in Copaganda: How Police and the Media Manipulate Our News by Alex Karakatsanis. You can figure out the spelling yourself. Anyway, he's a lawyer and an activist lawyer and doing some great work. I mean, this is a really interesting book because it brings up something that is with us all the time. And just becomes part of the woodwork, the walls, yeah, of our society. So we might not really notice or understand where the information we are getting comes from. And it turns out that a lot of the news is coming directly from the police forces. There are these giant bureaucracies, not only the police, but as he calls it, the punishment bureaucracy that is the police, it is the prosecutors, it is the jail system, the prison system. A lot of that is private. All that money and lobbying goes into manipulating our Congress, whatever, as we should know, and it also goes into manipulating and screwing up and the information and what we think about the world that we live in, because it's so distorted what we see now. He says, toward the end, what can you do? Well, first he starts at the beginning to talk about local news, like on TV. The it's the 6 o'clock news, bah, 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 and you got these lovely people there from Central Casting, all look good and they have nice teeth, better than mine. And they deliver what is supposedly the news. And they have other producers that go get stuff or whatever. And so, while their staffs are being diminished and so forth, their budgets for these systems, TV stations, and everything. In the meantime, the punishment bureaucracy is continuing to fund their PR units. So it comes to a situation where, say, the local news, 6 o'clock news, da, 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 that kind of stuff on TV all the time is completely manipulated by the cops. And so much of it is crime news. I mean, it'll tell us about the local polluters, how they're wrecking our health, how we're getting ripped off by corporations, all the stuff, all the real crime that's costing us a lot of money and trashing the whole country. They just tell us, oh, yeah, somebody got mugged over here, da 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 da. And all that information is making it look much, much worse than it really is. I mean, I'm in New York City, and you're assuming you're out there somewhere. What is your view of New York City? Well, we got your Kojak way back in the day, and we got about 15, 30, 40 Dick Wolf Law and Order shows that are all about da 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 da, all the crime and everything, and everybody, these shows, that 90-year-old ladies like. So it's all a distorted mess, and a lot of this local news is basically produced by the PR funded groups and owned groups, and the PR units contained in a lot of these big city police departments, L.A., Los Angeles, New York City, and they deliver the stories unto the newsroom. Like the producer for the news show is like, what are we gonna do? I don't know. have money to chase around the stuff, whatever. So, in comes the cops. Like, here's a story for you. Bam, 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 bam. All the points. They are the source. They are, and that's what we think the news is, and it's not really. It's just the bullshit of the punishment bureaucracy, as stated in this book. So, it's a rather complete and thought out work here. Not only is he talking about local news, he's talking about the New York Times. And he talks about several stories in the New York Times that are completely distorted and completely sourced by like the mayor of town and the local prosecutor and the chief of police. These are the sources for the stories that they're getting. Not any like real people. Just all these people whose business is, the punishment bureaucracy, and whose interest is in furthering the punishment bureaucracy, more funding for them, more money for them, and it goes on and on and on. So that's kind of the main some of the things that go. Oh, he talks about, there's a long section where he talks about these Harvard professors that have come up with this study about crime and what to be done. And I think I don't remember the figure, that their ultimate solution to our world is like 500,000 more cops. And they don't even know how many cops there are. They're only counting the like regular municipal cops or state cops or whatever, not counting all the private organizations and so on and so forth. So they oh so their conclusion is 500 more cops, 500,000 more cops, and it's completely distorted and completely ridiculous. And they don't look into any of the sources of the problems, the real solution. I mean, they could get 1 billion cops, many, many more cops. Of course, they're going to have Palantir surveillance and so on and so forth, which is going to help. To them to collect information on everybody, look at what everybody's thinking, all that kind of stuff. So that will help. But they can come up with all the cops that they can, but or will, but it's not going to ultimately, derail the troubles that people are having, and how they end up needing the cops in the first place, because they're living in poverty. They might be homeless. All these things that can be dealt with in other means other than this sort of quasi-military state kinds of activity of more cops, more guns. Like and the cops have gotten over the past 50 years, the cops have gotten like way funded with all this military hardware and tanks, and New York City cops have like tanks and stuff like that, and they're just it's insane, and it's very hard to stop, because they keep manipulating people with this fear that they're they need more cops, because this you're gonna get in trouble. All the migrants are gonna start raping your daughters, and all this stuff that is just amounts to mostly and almost exclusively lies. I'm on Avenue B in the East Village, and behind me is the Christador House. This is a famous building. It's kind of the nice housing in the neighborhood, old school nice housing in the neighborhood, I guess. I don't know. Anyway, I think famous people live there. Iggy Pop used to live there, I believe. And then he went to Florida or some shit. Anyway, I've been watching this. I wanted to update a little bit the book here, Copaganda, because it was written really before this ICE thing really started up. You know, the fascist goons in the street with their full sleeves and their face masks and grabbing people up and throwing them into detention centers or this or that and whatever they're doing. Well, that was not happening, you know, a year ago, and at least to the extent that it is now. But it surely is now. And
she's like, my mom exaggerated the Zach.
I wanted to say that, like, all this stuff with this book or something and ICE, you know, I'm not shocked. I'm not surprised. I've been pretty aware of my country and the sort of garbage attitudes of so many of the people. I mean, you know, this is a country that built on slavery and so forth, right? So it has a very strong and powerful element of fascistic slave-holding people who, you know, have been trashing the New Deal for the past 70 years, and you know, finally really getting a serious foothold. And this book is really a media studies thing about the cause of all this. I mean, the things, the culture that supported the corporate culture. Corporate cop, TV, big media culture that has been supporting all this and pushing it through, and you know, here we are. So, you know, it's I don't know whether big societies with militaries and you know, all the crap that goes with having a really large, complicated system, government running things, bureaucracy. But you know, that's why I'm soft on communism. I mean, it seems like humans cannot do anything other than like the small tribe. Anything outsized, anything bigger than just, you know, the people you know, the neighborhood you have, whatever, where you can maybe get rid of the bad people. You know, I've heard of tribal societies shun and push away people they don't want. Well, I think we see that it's very hard for these kind of human structures to go big. As we've seen these nations go big in the past, few decades, actually. I mean, really acceleratingly big in the 20th century. So that's why I'm soft on communism. It's like, okay, if your goal, if your way you feel safe, if how it's going to go here is get big, and come into and the only way to do it is through some sort of enormous authoritarian roughneck structure. Well, I think I'll take the one that has some kind of base philosophy of sharing the wealth, having the workers in control of stuff. So what I'm saying is that's why I'm soft on communism. I mean, it seems that maybe, I don't know, maybe the directions that China is going in is a little bit more wholesome in some kind of way than the way the USA is going. And the basic philosophy that's somewhere embedded in the thing is somewhat better. The philosophy here is, you know, get rich and fuck everybody else, basically. And that's you know, this is Ayn Rand Nation right here. So that's a little extra thing I wanted to say here, just to bother you more and say that, you know, how smart I am. Like, me, I expected all this to happen. Not because I'm smart, it's just because I'm fucking observant into what's been going on around me for my entire life. So I think that's all I'm going to say about this book. But he comes up, he delivers a last chapter of like solutions or what we can do, and like join local groups. Court watch. There are groups of court watch that people go to court and watch what goes on there and take notes. And so all this isn't happening behind all of our backs as people get railroaded. Oh, he talks about the cash bail, what the functions of cash bail. When the legal system is overburdened, the cash bail helps because it forces people into a situation where they have to, in order to get out of jail, in many cases, if they don't have any money, you go with the bondsman industry, which is you come up with 10% of your big bond. Say it's whatever $100, you have to come up with $10. I mean, it's always way more than that, but you would lose that $10 that you get the $100 for, whether you win your case or not. So that's all just profit to the bondsman biz, and it helps railroad people into jail, or into settling in court, because they don't want to, into not having a fair trial because they just people want to just get out of jail. If your mom and dad don't have enough money to bail you out of jail, don't have any money to even pay the bondsman, one way to get it done is to come settle before court, plead out something, which is probably usually to the benefit of the court and the legal system, and not to the person who's been pulled into it like that. So yeah, he talks about one thing. He says, "Do not watch the daily news." And it's like, who watches TV news anymore? I would watch that crap for years. I mean, I was offended by it, like 30 years ago. It's, oh, there's a crime over here, a crime over there. It's all just a lot of crap, really. And of course, the national news, the CNN and the Fox is marginally any better. If it is marginally any better, it's only by a little bit, because they are doing the same thing. They are, getting a lot of their information from the punishment bureaucracy, the New York Times, all these big papers, the Washington Post, so on and so forth. It's a mess, and it would be really good if we could find a way to change this stuff. I mean, you can't just elect somebody because usually they're in the pocket of it all too. Maybe our dear Mondani here in New York City is a ray of hope to do something. Of course, then what is a person alone unless we really rally behind somebody like that and say, yes, this is indeed what we want, and we are really going to support you no matter who's coming after you. So I think I'll leave it there. Propaganda. Copaganda, yeah. Copaganda is propaganda from the police, from the punishment bureaucracy. How police and the media manipulate our news and therefore our minds.